Hi everyone, so welcome along to another video. This time it's all about social media, and as university academics, as professors, lecturers, teaching fellows, research fellows, do we need social media? This actually came up in the comments, so thank you very much to the person who suggested it. I'm never sure whether people like to have personal shout outs or not, so I'll refrain from doing it, but thank you so much for your great video suggestion. So yeah, this week, social media, and as professors, should we use it at all? Clearly I am on social media. If you've made it to the end of one of these videos, you'll see that I shout out my Twitter account, I've got an Instagram account, I post YouTube videos, I maintain a website. So yeah, I do use social media. And I think as university academics, there's definite advantages to having a social media account on some of these platforms. And there's definitely some things probably we should be wary about and a little bit cautious about if we're using social media in kind of almost a work type setting. I became, I guess, interested in social media and the use of it by academics a couple of years ago when I saw this paper. So it's a paper that reports something called the Kardashian index. And it's basically a metric and it's a little bit fun, and it's comparing your Twitter number of followers to your paper citations. And is there a link between those two things? I'll pop a link to the paper in the comments bit below. But essentially I read that and then it inspired a bachelor's project, and we explored the topic and as academics, how do we use social media? And I think when we started the project, I was expecting pretty much, not all, but a good chunk of academics to have a Twitter account. And it surprised me that that actually wasn't the case. I work in a university department where lots of us do have Twitter accounts, but when you actually start digging into it, not as many academics have Twitter that I thought would be signing up for it. Now, personally, I really like having a Twitter account. I probably don't tweet that much. I should probably tweet more if I'm honest, but it can be so useful. So the way I use it is if I need to get a research grant application, it can be really useful to follow the research councils. So these are the people that are going to have money that could possibly fund my future research. So if I follow their accounts, it can give me some insight into how they operate and when future funding calls are coming up. I also really like Twitter when it comes to conferences. You know, my colleagues will tweet about what the talk they've seen or a key result or posters. And then if I'm not at the conference, I can sort of keep track with what's going on. If I am at the conference, it might inspire me to go and talk to somebody or see something that I hadn't thought about going to see before. So yeah, now quite a big issue I think we face as academics is if we give ourselves one of these social media accounts on one of these platforms, do we follow people back? If you had a PhD student follow you, would you as the lecturer follow their account back? And your personal choice there might be different for, say, a PhD or postdoctoral researcher compared to maybe an undergraduate student. And this is where I think it comes down to, very much personal choice as to how you want to use social media. Are you using it maybe as an observer, so you can look in on things, but maybe not post yourself too much? Are you looking at it to be very a social account? Are you wanting your social media to be more for friends and family than it is for work and colleagues and students? I think we also probably need to be careful, I guess, a little bit about whether we're representing our viewpoints on social media or is it the viewpoint of our university or our employer? And where that line is between those two things, I think can be quite tricky sometimes. Are you posting for work? Are you posting for you? Is it a mixture? Are you going to have one account, say on Instagram, for your friends and family to see? And is that going to be a private account? And then are you going to have an open account that you might use for more kind of, I guess, work-related matters? It's difficult. And everybody will have their own opinion on where they want to be using that visibility of their social media accounts. As I said, I like Twitter. I definitely find it quite a useful place to see what's going on across the research communities, and to hear about latest results, to hear about upcoming talks or public events that I might want to go to. Like all platforms, I think there can be, I guess, rabbit holes or things you can end up following that maybe aren't the best to be following. I think, it's a space where people can give quite strong viewpoints, and some of those viewpoints you might agree with, but some of those viewpoints might make you feel, I don't know, anxious or apprehensive, or may cause you to worry about something. And again, I think that's personal choice as to making that decision about which accounts you want to follow and engage with, and which are the ones that maybe you're going to decide to stay away from. Obviously, Twitter is kind of short text, pictures, links. Instagram is a very photo-based platform, I guess. Again, it can depend on your personal role within the university, where and how you want to use Instagram, and if you want to use it at all. So plenty of my colleagues at work aren't on Instagram at all, or at least I am not aware that they are. Maybe they have personal family accounts, but they certainly don't have any kind of work-related account on Instagram. I am the admissions tutor for my physics department, and my university do use Instagram to discuss events, to kind of promote when open days are going to be happening on the campus. Actually, I did an Instagram takeover for them. I'll include a link to that video. But yeah, I took over the whole university account for a day, and I did a physics takeover. So for me, as admissions tutor, I do need to have an Instagram account, but I can see why colleagues would elect not to have one, and maybe would keep that as a kind of a personal family option instead. YouTube is a really interesting place to be. Clearly I'm making these YouTube videos. So I started this YouTube channel way back when, and it took me a little bit of time to find my feet and work out what I wanted the channel to really be about. But for me, I really like it to be a space where we, as lecturers and people thinking about being a lecturer or curious about working at a university, or just wanting to understand more about the different career pathways in a university, can get together and actually have a bit of a discussion. And YouTube helps facilitate that, which is fabulous. But if you note in my YouTube comment boxes, I always say that the views are my own, because they are. I'm not here representing my university. And I guess, again, that's drawing that line, isn't it, between whether I'm talking for an employer or whether I'm talking for myself. The other cool thing about YouTube is I've noticed lately people are starting to use YouTube videos to go alongside their journal publications. So they'll publish a paper and then they'll put out a very short YouTube video summarising the key results, or showing a really cool graphic, or something in maybe in a video that you couldn't easily show in a publication. And I like the fact that we have this connection now between what are pretty serious academic journal papers, written in usually formal academic language, but we can share those results through social media channels, be that through a tweet or a post on Instagram or a YouTube short video. What's cool is the visibility that gives us to a much broader range of people that might not have seen that research. But again, it brings choices for you as the individual academic. Do you want to share that result and finding through your own personal social media? Or would you rather have, say, the university social media share your results instead? So do academics need social media? Honestly, from my personal opinion, I think it can be a useful tool. I certainly feel that I've benefited from having a Twitter account. It's quite nice to see what's going on at my university through Instagram, and obviously I love putting out these YouTube videos. So are you missing out then if you don't have a social media account and you're an academic? Well, I would say that I've got plenty of professors and colleagues who are incredibly successful academics, and they don't really have a social media presence at all. So clearly you can be very successful and not feel the need to join any of those social media platforms. It just comes down to personal choice, and where you feel happy getting information, sharing information, and what kind of communities you want to engage with. So yeah, no answer. for this week's video. It is very much, I guess, a discussion topic. I'd love to know, do you love social media? Do you have accounts on all the different platforms? Or maybe you only are very selective and just pick one or two? Maybe you've never commented on a video before, and this is the video that you might comment on and say, actually, yes, I prefer watching, but maybe not commenting on social media. But as always, have an awesome week. Thank you again for that great topic suggestion. Please do feel free to leave me a comment. I really do love reading the comments. If you're in middle of semester, well, it's not middle, if you're second or third week of semester, I hope things are going well. We are now in full lecture swing, so got lectures happening in person, we're recording some of them for online content, labs are happening in person, tutorial classes are going ahead, so campus is definitely kind of picking up again. But yeah, have a good few days, and I will see you next Monday. Bye.